Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday night live. My name is Teresa Harper, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I am located in Sheridan, Oregon, in the U.S. And if you would like to purchase any of the products today that I use today, I will be sure to put a link in the video description once this is finished. All right, so let's see who's on. And there we go. All right. Go ahead and let me know who's on. And if you're not one of my usual locals, go ahead and tell me where you're watching from, because I would be really interested to know that. Hello, Lynette. Hope you had a wonderful day. It was nice today. Sure enjoyed not having some rain, although my mussels will not be happy tomorrow, I'm sure. Did a bunch of weeding in the flower bed. I don't needed done, and so I got that done. Hello, Tracy. Happy Tuesday. Oh, excuse me. Hope everybody enjoyed the sun. Nathan and I went for a walk, had a little time on the deck, and really, other than weeding, and that was pretty much my day. Hello, Laura. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Jennifer. I'm going to wait about 30 seconds more, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so tonight we're going to be using the Sending Smiles bundle of products. Comes with the Sending Smiles stamp set and the Sending Smiles dies. We'll be using both of those. We're also going to be using the stylish dies and the layering circles dies on this card. I loved how they went together. So we're going to do that. Go ahead and get these out of the way. You can find this bundle on page 14 of the catalog, and I wanted to show you all the beautiful samples that they have in the catalog. You can always get inspiration from the catalog. All right. Let's go ahead and set that aside. Let's get stamping. My first card, before we get started, I wanted to show you this really cute card that came in the mail to me. And this is from Elaine Thornton. And this was one of the, I think this was called Seasons of Fun. It was one of the host sets that was in the July to December catalog last year. And she said that she did not know how to express her joy and gratefulness for our little group. And she was really touched by the way we all reached out to her. And she wanted us to know how much she appreciated you all sending cards to her. Hello, Cynthia. So thank you, Elaine, for that beautiful card that I received. And if someone will remind me the next time we have a little group photo, maybe we can send her a copy. She would like to feel like she's part of our group. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start with a card base of crushed curry, 5.5 by 8.5. And I've already scored that at 4 1/4. So I am going to go ahead and give that a burnish, making sure that those edges line up there. Okay, so got that card laying nice and flat. And then we've got a piece of the Tea Boutique Designer Series paper. This is a 6x6 stack that's in the new annual catalog. Beautiful papers. And our card today has absolutely nothing to do with tea. So this paper is fabulous and you can use it for just about any occasion. All right. So this layer is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And we can go ahead and put that on. Not sure why I don't have my Stampin' Seal out already. So we're just gonna put a little seal, put this on. This card was actually a sketch challenge card that I participated in. So I took the sketch that I was given, and this is the card that I came up with. Okay, so then we have 2 pieces that I cut at 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this is also from that Tea Boutique paper. And I'm going to put these right along here like so. And now if I were really smart, I would get out my silicone mat so that I don't get Stampin' Seal on my work surface. And we would also try to line that up a little better before we press it down. Well, you know what? It's going to be what it is. All right, so we'll put this second one on. And I'm going to put just a little bit of room, just a little bit of distance between those 2 strips. Okay. Then from the Stylish Shapes dies, I cut from Basic White. I cut the second largest of the Stylish Shapes. And from the Layering Circles dies, I used the second largest of the scallops. And I really liked how those layered together. And we are just going to go ahead and stick these down. Like that. All right, and now we need to do a little bit of stamping and some die cutting. Okay, so we've got a scrap piece of Basic White here. And we're going to stamp in Garden Green this image, this leaf image. Oh, let me get my stamping mat here, so I'm sure to get a good image. And then we're going to need Orchid Oasis. And we're using the large flower. I'm going to stamp that in Orchid Oasis. Ink that up. Okay. And then we're going to get our, this one. We're going to try this one, and I might have to die cut it first. I've found with this particular flower, I tend to do better if I die cut it and then stamp it, but we'll give it a shot. And if it doesn't work out, we'll die cut it and then stamp it. I'm going to stamp this because this is a little bit different, this stamp. Okay, and then we're going to take our crushed curry and stamp the center of our flowers. Hang on, my Facebook is stuck. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take the little image that's going to go in here. And the key to this, when you ink it up, is to give yourself just a little bit of white space and stamp it. And that might actually work really well. Okay, then we're going to take the other little flower center that's oval shaped, and we're going to stamp it down in the center of our orchid oasis. Okay, and now we're ready for die cutting. Let's go ahead. We've got one more piece to stamp. So while we are stamping, we might as well get it all done. I've already die cut the smallest sentiment die from the set. And we're going to stamp that in Orchid Oasis, and we're going to put a note of thanks. And we're just going to stamp that down. Great. That worked out great. Because it's photopolymer, I can do the die cut and then stamp it down and still feel relatively good that I've gotten it. Okay, so let's move these things out of our way. So we're going to bring up the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Now, I'm going to cut the sending word from the die cut, and it's very thin. So I'm going to take my adhesive sheet and a piece of sweet sorbet, and I'm going to put my adhesive sheet down on my sweet sorbet. And I'm going to peel that backing off. This one wants to be stubborn. For some reason. There we go. All right. Now when I die cut my sentiment, it will already be a sticker. Okay. So let's get our die cut machine up here. Get some of our stamps out of the way so it'll fit. And I'm using the large cut and emboss so that I can use my new magnetic platform so that I don't have to tape all my dies down. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab those dies. I'm going to be using this one, and I'll just line that right up. And then we're going to be using this one. Okay, and here is our sending that we're going to put on our sweet sorbet. And then we need our leaf die. Okay. So I find I look through the hole on the die down here to find my leaf, the green of the leaf, and then I'll rotate this top part to fit that. That's what I find the easiest way is. And then we're ready to run this through. And as long as I don't move those dies when I set my top plate on, they will stick right where I put them. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lift off my flowers. Because I don't need those to be extra cut. But because I'm running this completely intricate die through and with an extra layer of adhesive sheet, I want to run it through a couple of times just to make sure that I've got that really cut through everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and put them so I don't lose them. And we're going to be careful of our tittle on our eye because we don't want to lose that. All right. And the first thing I'm going to do is I've already cut out of white the background for that sending. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first. All right. Let's take our little take your pick tool and get that little tittle. And I'm going to put that right down before I can lose it. And I'll get the rest of these centers out of my letters. And then we'll pop this out. There we are. Okay, now our adhesive sheet had some breaks on it. So if I could find those breaks, which I'm not easily seeing them, I'm just going to take my take your pick tool again. And stick it between those layers. Come on, I see you moving. There we go. Got that. Okay. I'm going to start laying this down. And because I use that adhesive sheet, I don't have to worry about making a mess of glue. I can just stick this into place. It also gives this sentiment a little bit more stability because you have that extra backing and adhesive on there. So it's a little bit stronger and a little bit easier to work with, I think. All right. So when I get that down, then I like to take my bone folder and burnish that down so that those don't come back up. All right, so that sentiment is done. And we're going to need that one more time tonight. So we'll put that out of the way. And we're going to bring in our pieces. And we're going to start layering this up. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is put our leaves down. And I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue for that. And I don't want any glue on the stem because the stem is going to hang off a little. The lower stem. This is really a pretty wide little stem, so it's easy to put the liquid glue on. Okay, we're going to put this down right here, like so. Then we're going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. For our flowers. And we're going to pop those on. Putting our Orchid Oasis right here. Our Sweet Sorbet flower right here. And then we're going to take our Sending and we're going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on it. And for this one, I'm going to use a mix. Mostly smalls, mostly the minis. Now you could cut your larges in half if you don't have the minis on hand. Okay, and I want one more at the top of this S. Okay, so we've got those. Now we just need to peel off those backings. Let's do it the quick way. Take your pick tool and just poke that right in and pull those off. Must got too thick. Okay. Then we're going to put this right over that. Oh, wait a minute. Before we do that, we need to put this down. Forgot I hadn't nailed this one down on the card yet. So we're going to put this about right here. And then we'll cover up that stem with the D. I need to get that straight. And then I'm going to take my note of thanks and I'm just going to glue this one down flat. And I'm going to tuck this under the G a little bit. And under my S. Got my dimensional a little too close to the bottom there, and I'll just straighten that up. Put that in there. And then we're going to add some iridescent rhinestones. Hello, Mary. Hello, Robin. Thanks for joining. We're using the Sending Smiles bunch today, bundle. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of these little small ones. You might take your pick tool using the slide and stick method if they'll cooperate. And then I'll take one of the larger ones and I'm just going to set down there. Okay, so there is the front of our card. Now for the inside of a card, I took the single green leaf, or the single leaf, and I stamped that, and then there's a stamp that looks kind of like a hyacinth in there, and I stamped it in Orchid Oasis. And I'm going to take a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and I tend to just put one strip at the top for the inside, and then we're just going to put this down. And there is our finished card. And for the envelope, I've done the same trimming on the front. All right, I hope you enjoyed that project. Like I said, that was a sketch challenge, and I changed the sketch just a little bit because this piece here was actually supposed to be a strip of paper, and it was supposed to go up underneath the circle a little bit. But crafty girls do what they want, so this is how I decided to follow that sketch challenge. Okay, hope you like that. Oh, thank you guys for all the hearts and the thumbs up. That's great. I'm glad you enjoyed that. All right, let's move on to card number 2. Let's keep out our Stampin' Dimensionals though, so I don't have to get them twice. And the next card is a fun fold card. And this actually was a mystery stamping card. We've got to clean some stamps because we're going to use some of the same stamps in different colors. So we need to have those clean. And I'm just cleaning them with my Stampin' Chamois. We sell this in the online store if you don't already have one. I got my chamois holder from Whimsical Wishes US on Etsy. Oh, I didn't get that one. One more stamp. Okay, I think that should do us. All right. So for our fun fold card, we're going to start with a card base in Mary Merlot. Okay. And we've got a scrap piece of basic white, and I've already got adhesive sheet on this, on the back of it. I've already cut out my sending, which you could cut out of the center of your Mary Merlot here if you want to save some cardstock. Got a scrap piece of paper for stamping. I've got a piece of Blushing Bride that is 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, and I've scored this at 4 1/4. And we'll go ahead and give this a quick burnish. Okay, so we've got those. Got a piece of the Perfectly Penciled Designer Series paper. This is 2 1/4 by 6, and this is actually for the flap of our envelope. And apparently I've already done that. Do I have the wrong? Oh no, I have the wrong envelope. Okay, I didn't do that. All right. It's for the flap of our envelope. So we're going to take and do this right now. Remember, 2 1/4 by 6. And I'm just going to take some liquid glue and run it around the outside edge of the flap. I don't want to get crazy because I don't want glue everywhere. Then I'm going to take my Designer Series paper and I'm going to line that up with the edge. And I like to take and put it on my desk top. Oh, come on, move. You don't want to stick yet. It slid. It slid on me. Come on. Okay, so we're going to line that up. Give it a burnish. And then I'm going to take my paper snips. And I'm just going to cut around the outside edge. And then our envelope flap is already ready. Okay, so we'll set that aside. And I've cut one of the deckled rectangles from the new deckled rectangles. And this one is the fourth. 1, 2, 3, fourth from the smallest, or 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth from the largest. So this one right here. Nope. Maybe it is this one. I was wrong. It is the fourth from the largest. Okay. So we've got that. And we have 2 strips of the same perfectly penciled paper, the same pattern that we put on the flap of our envelope, and these are 3/4 by 4 1/4. So we've got those. Those are all our pieces. I already die cut one of those flowers. I'm going to show you how to do that with just the die cut. And then this piece is 3 by 4, and this is for the inside of our card. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our stamping done. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this one first. And I'm going to stamp this little one in Mary Merlot. Let me get my other colors out of the way. So our color combo is Blushing Bride, Basic Gray, and Mary Merlot. So let's start with the Mary Merlot. And we're going to, these petals go down. And because this is photopolymer, I can see through it. So I'm going to take and set this down right here. And then I'm going to get the Blushing Bride. And I'm going to take the center of that flower. And I'm just going to set that down. And that's what our flower looks like. Okay. Now, for the rest of these flowers, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this small one in Mary Merlot. With a center in Blushing Bride. And I have found if you look at the center of this flower, there's just a little flat spot on the bottom and a little divot. It has just like a little dent. And that's how I line this up. I put it with this opening right here and that flat spot and stick that in there. And if you miss, do it again. Okay? Nobody will ever know. So for our large flower, we're going to stamp that in Blushing Bride. And we're going to have the center, the oval center in Mary Merlot. I didn't do a very good job. I'm going to have to stand up. I can't see that. Not over the top to line that up properly. There we go. Much better. Okay. Now, the last thing that we need to stamp to cut is our sending. So I'm going to take that piece of basic white that I have with the adhesive sheet, and I'm going to take the word sending, and I'm going to ink this up in Blushing Bride. And I'm going to stamp this down. Okay. All right. So all the die cutting stamping is done, but we're not finished quite yet. We're going to take this deckled rectangle that we have. We're going to take the basic gray, and we're going to stamp the double leaf. And we're going to do that right here. And then we're going to get that single leaf. And in basic gray, we're going to stamp it as well. Okay, now we have all of our stamping done for the outside of our card. Okay, so we can set all this aside, and now we can bring up the die cutting machine and we can get everything cut all at once. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut this out. So again, let's grab that magnetic plate. And I'm going to go ahead and get this all set up and get my dies. This is one of the nice things about the magnetic plate is you can set it all up before you even get it on the machine, so that you've got a bird's eye view. Oh, I already cut that one. I don't need to cut this one again. Okay, I'll get the sending. I'll put this down here. Okay, so for my sending, I'm not going to care if this is absolutely perfect, but what I'm going to do, because you'll not notice it, but it turned out pretty well. Let me make sure I get all these little pieces out of here. Okay, so I'm going to take, and where I see these holes, I can see my stamping. And they're actually the punch out holes. So you can see my stamping, and I'm going to line that up as best I can. Okay, and we need one more die, because we need that small flower. So let's get that. Okay, we're going to line that up just like that. Got that. This is all good. And now we can bring the machine in. Got our base plate, plate number 1. Got plate number 5. And then we've got our top plate. And I'm going to gently put my top plate down so I don't move my dies. And I'm going to roll that through. And because I have my sending at the end, I'm going to push that back through. And I should be good. Okay. So we'll go ahead and remove our cutting plates. Okay, we've got our flowers. Now we've got all of those. And I'll show you how that sending turned out. I really liked it. Okay, but again, I'm going to grab my Mary Merlot. I'm going to grab my sending here. I'm going to pull this out. And the tittle is still intact. Now, can you see how that cut with the stamping on there? Okay, let's go ahead and pop out our tittle. Okay, let's see if we can get that separated. Got it down pretty far on my finger here to bring it up so I can get at it. Okay, there we go. Stuck to my finger. And remember what I said about the adhesive sheets. Until you burnish it, they're not stuck. So we'll just move that around till it's where we want it. And then we'll give it a press. Then we're going to take our sending out of our paper here. And I don't have to worry about the backing because it didn't quite cut through the backing on the S. So that's going to peel off very nicely for us. It's going to start peeling. Okay, let's just peel, peel. Okay, there we go. And we'll put that down. Anchor that just a little bit there. Set our D down in there how we want it. Get our I in. Get the G in here. There we go, then it won't stick to me. Okay. And there we have it. Now I'll turn that over again. Burnish that adhesive down. And now you can see our stamped sending. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Now we can start assembling our card. Okay, so our card base is going to be in landscape. And remember the card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to take these 2 strips of the perfectly penciled paper. I'm going to lay these down and get them situated how I think I want them. I've got something on my card base there. Let's take that off. Okay, and then we'll set our, make sure that your opening is correct. And then we can better judge where we want these, centering them up. Okay, and that looks about good to me. So I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue because I've got some wiggle room here. So I use the liquid. And set that down about equal distance. And try to make it straight. Again, I should be working on my silicone mat. I'm not sure where it's at the moment. Buried in my tool turnabout case somewhere. Okay, and then I'm going to put this one down. All right. Then we can take and add our blushing bride layer to the center of this. Setting it down to make sure that that base is even. A little bit of adhesive on there, just take that right off. And then we're going to take and put our basic white stamped piece right here. And do that with a little bit of Stampin' Seal. And we'll center that up. Okay. We're going to take our sending and put down here. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to put this on with liquid glue, and I'm going to, the very part of the G is going to stick off, and a little bit of the S is going to stick off. So I'm going to be sure not to put my glue right to the edge of those two letters. And I'm putting my G right at the bottom. The liquid glue will allow me to slide that into so that it looks straight. Give that a press. And then we'll take some glue dots or some dimensionals. And we're going to pop our flowers on. And it's okay if these hang off the edge because it's not going to matter. When you open this up, you still have all of this side space that will keep those from getting damaged in the envelope. So we're going to put this down here like this. Put this one over here. I'm going to take some iridescent pearl basic jewels. And I am actually going to take one of these smaller ones, and I'm going to put this right over my tittle. So if you lose your tittle, no biggie, use a pearl. And then I'm going to use a larger one of the pearls for the center of the small flower here. And I'll stick another one up here. Okay. And there is the front of our card. Okay. Now for the center of our card, we're going to take that 3x4 piece that we have, wherever I put that, right here, our 3x4 piece. And we're going to stamp the single stem. In basic gray. Lost sight of it for a second. It was right in front of my face, of course. And we're just going to put this over here. Going to get this flower in petal pink again. Stamp that in there. Then we're going to take that center in Mary Merlot. And we're going to get right over the top of that, stamp it down. And now we have the inside of our card. Close those up. Put the lid on our glue. I'm going to get some Stampin' Seal again. And our card. What do I do with my Stampin' Seal? Good grief. Can't see what's right in front of my nose. And we're going to add this to the inside of our card. And we have a beautiful thank you card. All right, I hope you enjoyed those tonight. Let's move these out of the way. I'll bring back in the first card that we made. And I hope you enjoyed those. Let's see if I need to move them there. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, thank you guys. I loved the Mary Merlot and Blushing Bride combo with the gray. I thought it turned out really nice. Not sure where that color combo came from, but I really liked it. Oh, you know what we forgot, right? We forgot a little bit of Wink of Stella. Because every card needs some Wink of Stella. Don't you agree? All right, there we go. Let's just get that done. Get a little bit of sparkle. I always wipe off between colors because I don't want to mix my colors. All right, there we go. All of our flowers now have a little bit of sparkle. All right, everybody. I'm glad you joined me. Thank you very much. I will see you back here next Tuesday night. I do not know what bundle I'll be using, but I'm sure we'll have a good time. So next Tuesday night, 7:45. Good night.